Yep.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Um, my name is Anjar, AAP 519. And before I begin this presentation, if I ask an ordinary Chinese guy born from Shanghai, what is your business plan? He will ask, I want to build some high-tech device, some manufacturing device, some intelligent toys. If I ask some Taiwan guy, what is your business plan? He will say that I'm going to make some integrated circuit high technology. But if you ask an Indonesian, I'm Indonesian, what is your business plan? I will argue that you will never know what is my business plan. But if you're going to Jakarta, Jakarta is capital in Indonesia, and you ask a small children in the street what is your business plan, he will say that I want to work for like state-owned oil company. I want to work for the energy business in Indonesia because in fact 25% of Indonesian GDP is from the energy business. So energy is very important for the Indonesia, but also some source of problem because our national government budget 20% is to subsidize the oil. So this is story about the complicated country and the story about the small geothermal power plant. This is the pictures of the volcano eruption. But before that, I'm going to ask you a question again. Mr. Taniwa, what is the first thing that comes in your mind when you heard the word energy? What is the first word that you comes in your mind when you heard the word energy?
It's probably coal.
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 Oh, coal. Okay. Mr. Frank, what do you think? If you heard the word of energy, what is the first thing that?
Scavenging.
Scavenging. If you heard the word of energy, you can relate it with electricity, transportation, or everything. But you ask me, what the first thing, the word that I heard from the energy is expensive. Energy is very expensive. The cost to explore energy, you need to have like $1 million to drill in deep water ocean, you get nothing. The cost to exploit the energy also very expensive. The cost to transport it, the cost to manufacture, the cost to distribute the energy is very expensive. The cost of energy to the environment also very expensive. But energy is everything. We cannot live without energy. Energy is used for every aspect in our life. So it is very important, and it is a very big question for humanity to find a new alternative for energy, to find a very efficient exploration of energy. So in this presentation, I will argue that the solution is geothermal. So what is geothermal power plant? This is the picture of the geothermal power plant. This is, I will argue, most likely an Indonesian engineer because he wears no safety equipment in one of the first geothermal power plant in Indonesia. At that time, it was not Indonesia, it's Dutch East Indies because it was in 35. And then this is the schematic of geothermal power plant. It has no difference with the other power plant. It used the steam from the inside of the earth and rotate the turbine. This is the picture of steam and water pipeline. So the first question, how geothermal compared to another energy sources? Basically, from the engineering point of view, there are no significant difference. This is the picture of the hydro. The second one is the coal power plant. The third one in bottom is the nuclear power plant. They use the same thermodynamic principle. They use the same electromagnetic induction principle to generate energy. But the main different thing is this: the cost to generate energy. There are so many assumptions, so many institutions that develop this assumption. But I use this assumption from one of the most accepted is from the International Energy Association. The capital cost that need to build the geothermal can be argued one of the cheapest. Hydro is very cheap, only 2 million US dollar per megawatt. But if you compare to wind offshore, of course, is very expensive. And the operating cost, if you see, is very competitive. Coal is also competitive, but yeah, coal is not renewable. The geothermal is renewable energy. And from the technology point of view, which is from the engineering principle, some people might argue geothermal is only work for large scale plant, but in some cases we can generate it using 100 kilowatt, 2 megawatt, or even without any drilling process inside the earth. So the second question is how feasible this business from international point of view. If you see these pictures, this is the picture of three mayors. This is the mayor of Jakarta, this is the mayor of London, and this is the mayor of Jakarta, which 4 months ago became a president of Indonesia. So, what is the business from the international point of view? I would argue, because my president is smiling, waving his hand, the most important is about the trust, the relationship. From the international point of view, what Indonesia has? Indonesia has 40% of world geothermal reserve in our country. We have 73 certification, China 98 something, UK 99 something, but we have 73% because we have so many islands. Our president has planned to increase the energy capacity like 80% in the next 5 years. And from the UK point of view, Indonesia or UK is one of the biggest producers of the coal, nickel, insurance, ancestral defense. It's in Indonesia. So, but from the business point of view, you need to see things from two sides. If you see the GDP growth, we are very good. Actually, it should be 6% something. So it represents the opportunity. But if you see from the GDP per capita parameter, our GDP per capita is very low, only like 3,000. If you see interest rate, it's like 7%. So, Mr. Tony, in your accounting class, someone asked me, in which country you get like 10% of the interest? In Indonesia, my mortgage is like 70%. My mortgage. If I have money and I put in the bank, it's easy for me to get like 10% interest. If I go to government bond, it's like 7 or 8%. Interest is big, but it also represents the trade. Because on the other side, the currency of Indonesia is quite volatile. If you remember the 97 crisis, yeah, this country poorly get the impact from the currency weakness. So from the feasibility from the international point of view, I think I would argue it will be based on trust. And if you see the example, the Chevron, it's owned one of the biggest geothermal facility in the world, in Indonesia. So the next question is this safe, the geothermal? This is the picture of the Vesuvius Pompeii movie, the eruption. If you see from the temperature point of view, the geothermal heat that generated is only 200 Celsius. So it's safe. Some technology can support like 57. If you compare to the temperature for iron melting, like 1,500. If you compare to Hiroshima bomb, 6. If you compare to the nuclear provide even in a million temperature degree. So it's safe. Geothermal is safe. The second one about the drilling. The Earth radius is like 6,000 kilometers. Our deepest hole in the world is like 12 kilometers. Geothermal is only needed like 400 meters. And like I mentioned, in some cases, the heat is just comes from the inside of the earth, so we don't need any drilling or any boring process. Shale gas is also much more deeper. But if you see from the point of view the energy, I will say that you should never underestimate the power of Mother Earth. Because Chernobyl, Hiroshima, Sardomba, if you compare from the energy point of view, is very, very small from the potential energy that can be generated from it. So how big is the business series? You see the difference? This is the reality, real life situation of the full-scale volcanic activity. So people just smile. This is the eruption behind smile. This is taken in 2010, like 4 kilometers from my university. People, yeah, eruption. Okay, this is day-to-day activity. And what is the risk? The biggest risk in this business, I will argue, is the land acquisition, license, and ring competition. But it was before the business established, so you don't need any money before you have the acquisition. But once we have license, the problem, the micro that related with the project and the macro that related with the country, the two things. The biggest one is inaccurate market share estimation. If you fail to have the agreed reasonable profitable feed-in tariff, then it will be a problem. The price fluctuation is also the problem. And what happens if we fail to manage the risk? This is what the same situation, the same scene with the previous picture. The cloud, the heated cloud, is like 1000 degrees. It's very fast, like 300 kilometers per hour, and it's poisonous gas. So you can choose the way you want to die. From the heat, from the poisonous gas, or from the cloud. What happens if we fail to manage the risk? Well, we lose our money. This is case from the energy. Japan has 2 vehicles for investment in Indonesia. The first is INPEX, they success. But JAPEX, another investment vehicle owned by Mitsubishi, is failed. So even a country, same culture, Japan, ASEAN, Far East, can be failed into same scenario. Same with also corruption, because it was one of the reputable companies, Chevron, involved in the corruption project. Nico, this one is Canadian company, performed the deep water operation, all failed, they pulled out. This one, another company, Australian company, also failed because of the mud volcano. This is also from the UK versus Dutch. It is also very interesting case study because Dutch is very successful. They use the same entry to Indonesia after the banking privatization. Both of these banks came to Indonesia, but this one is fake. Why? Many people argue because the cultures, because the Dutch knows better the culture of the Indonesian people, so they success. That's the culture reason. But another reason, another technical reason is about the license, because the Barclays buy the wrong bank for the license of the operation. And this one is my slide, is how valuable is the business. This is the result of attending 15 accounting class. This is the capex required to build the geothermal power plant. Like I said, it's more expensive than coal. The plant size, I assume, the same. And this is the magic number. The feed-in tariff price is very high. This is government, official document government, is like $250 per megawatt. Compared if you build the coal, the feed tariff from the government is only the cost, the levelized cost operating expense 60, 40. And the other magic number is the customer absorption. The plant utilization is same, 70, 80, but the customer absorption is every businessman need to compute this carefully because it will impacting on the break-even point and so on. Because some of the location of geothermal is in remote area, and maybe they will not able to achieve the targeted customer absorption. So you need to compute this carefully. Anyway, this is the picture of the tsunami. This is what happened 10 years ago, and this is what happened like 2 months ago. So, from the energy point of view, the energy that generated, it can be so massive, it can be very scary, but if you see within 10 years, seems nothing happens because of the tsunami. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Any question?
So is your plan to build a geothermal power station?
Yeah.
Okay. What skill sets do you have to enable that to happen? What's your part in this game?
Usually, because according to energy law, foreign investment need to have a local partner. So most likely, I will have like 30% of the share in joint venture company, and 70% is from the, let's say, BP. BP owns 70% and I own 30%. So my involvement is on the capital. I will be involved like in 30%, and in the construction process, I will have a cycle for the consulting to design the plan, and during the operation, I will be involved in the personal composition. But most likely, because the biggest cost is during the construction, this 30 million will be spent in the first 2 or 3 years. But after the plant being operated is very low maintenance, very limited people involved. In my experience, I've been involved in one of the LNG plant, and the construction they need like 4,000, but after the LNG plant operated, it's like only 100 people involved in the business. Yeah. But the problem is this, and ensure this, because the number is come from the legislation. Legislative agree with this price, and in many cases, if you see the gas contract with China, gas contract with the US, usually Indonesia in a position that very difficult, very profitable for the foreign investor. Yeah.
And it relies on the fit staying at 250.
Yeah. This is very good, very good.
Very good at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, and this is like in 2016. Next year, increase. And this is valid for like 20 years.
Okay, good. Thank you.